I've dreaded working on this video for a while, about 6 months now. Footage has been recorded the whole time, whole script written up, the whole thing, but I just sat on all of it. Going off how long previous videos have taken me, the process of wrapping up what I had would have only taken 3 or 4 days tops. However, just thinking about making the video would often wear me out. This is due to a combination of feeling discontent with the video's writing and gameplay overall, as well as Sonic 1 just being a game I do not enjoy. Playing it for the footage was very unenjoyable for me, and the script I made out of it was not particularly good either, and I reach a point where one has to wonder why I even wanted to make the video in the first place, and why I was now so intent on pumping it out eventually. In December of last year, I was hoping to jumpstart a YouTube channel, and my first idea was to make one big video on all the Windows Toho games, which is an idea I still plan to tackle, but I decided instead to look at all of the main series Sonic games. Despite being a longtime fan of the franchise, I haven't finished a lot of the big Sonic games, some of them I haven't even touched. Going in, I knew Sonic 1 had some jank to it, but I thought I was prepared for it. I'd be lying if I said I was very good at video games, but I've beaten Sonic 2, CD, and Mania without too much trouble in the past, so how bad could Sonic 1 be, right? And that's what I thought. Fool I was. As for the second question I posed earlier, why I was so dead set on making this video that pissed me off so much, well, unfortunately for myself, I'm a man of my word, and Sonic's big 30th anniversary is right around the corner. So, for all of you, here's the new and improved video on Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis. Here we go. Originally, here's where I had a long, kind of cringy look at the game's development. I'd say this is still fairly significant to the video, so I'll give you all the Cliff's Notes on that. In the 80s, Sega was looking for a slice of Nintendo's video game dominance. The Master System wasn't doing too incredible, and neither was their mascot, Alex Kidd. So, Sega looked to their R&D team for a big title and the mascot for the new Genesis, or Mega Drive system. A lot of designs were considered, some of which were recycled for future characters, but the winning design at the time was a rabbit character designed by Naoto Oshima, known for his work on the Phantasy Star series. One Yuji Naka was cast to head development for the project involving the new character. The duo brainstormed some ideas, and the big concepts they decided on were emphasizing the speed of the character and allowing them to fling objects with their large ears. Naka is quoted as saying, "The more skilled you become, the faster you can complete a stage." Naka started work on the game's engine, but didn't like the gameplay loop of slowing down to pick up items, then stopping to throw them. Not only did it go against the emphasis on speed, but the pair also wanted to make the game's controls as simple as possible. Just a D-pad with one button. Hirokazu Yasuhara, another game designer at Sega, was planning to make a new R&D team over at Sega of America. However, due to the ongoing Gulf War, he was held back in Japan. Oshima and Naka seized the opportunity and added him to their team. Yasuhara's input proved vital on the final vision of the game, as the trio was able to circumvent the need for slowing down by creating a system in which the player becomes the projectile. This also brought everything back to a single button, as the jump button now doubled as the attack button. This new outlook on the game's design necessitated a new character design. The first pick was a man with a mustache, a favorite within the team, but he didn't fit the speedy vision for the game, so he was instead cast as the main villain. It was now between an armadillo and a hedgehog's design, but the team decided the hedgehog's quills emphasized the character's speed, so he was chosen. When redesigning the Hedgehog character, Oshima looked in every which direction for inspiration. The silhouette and general appearance was lifted from classic cartoons. This can be seen in his proportions, stance, and gloves. His shoes were taken from the booming Michael Jackson, specifically inspired by the cover of his album Bad. His personality and attitude were allegedly inspired by Bill Clinton, and his primary color was set to blue, matching Sega's logo. Finally, the character was stripped of the name Mr. Needlemouse, and Sonic the Hedgehog was born. Production was now in full force, and various ideas for the project were bounced around. Masato Nakamura from the band Dreams Come True was brought on for the soundtrack, and the band played a major part in marketing the character. Before release, the production team dubbed themselves Sonic Team, and the game was eventually released on June 23, 1991 in the United States. The Sonic Gambit worked out for Sega. The game was a huge success, and the rest is history. So, as for the finished product, Sonic 1 is a game that I do not think is very good, which is a shocker, I'm sure. I didn't grow up with it at all, and the first time I played it was 29 years after its release, which has a major impact when talking about this kind of game. But I started randomly crying in the middle of that take. Oh god, I think it's a sign. But I do not think the game has stood the test of time at all, regardless. Some disclaimers before I jump in. I played the game through a Sega Genesis emulator, specifically the official Genesis emulator provided on Steam, with the provided ROM on Steam. I played the game with no save states, save for Scrap Brain and Final Zone, which I had no interest in beating legitimately. I also didn't get all the emeralds, as that would have taken way more time that I just didn't care to take. This stuff definitely factors into my thoughts on the game in some way, but it's important to be transparent. Anyways, onto the game. To me, a big problem with the Sonic series in general is how difficult it is to design big, fun levels for a character whose main gimmick is to move fast at all times. This is a problem that's plagued Sonic games forever, and still does to an extent, and it all started here. Green Hill is a great level, which is one of the most antiquated Sonic takes out there, I know, but it's important to mention. It starts you out fast, introduces you pretty naturally to all of Sonic's mechanics, and it's just generally a fun level to go through. It's also pretty huge, way bigger than most levels in a game like Mario had at the time. There's a big upper path, a big lower path, and tons of hazards and items all around both of these. The problem with this is that Green Hill is a hard act to follow for a full game, with how fast Sonic goes through a stage, making a full suite of levels that not only last that long, but also are that dense, is very difficult to maintain. That's why the speed and exploration of Green Hill is immediately juxtaposed with the slow and linear Marble Zone. Occasional moments of speed are occasionally placed throughout the level, but most of the time going fast is actually punished. The environment is tight and, again, very linear. And this all serves the purpose of essentially padding out playtime. Making huge levels for Sonic to speed through is very time consuming and gives you the same, if not less, playtime than making a linear, slow level that focuses on platforming. And this is a trend that permeates through a lot of the game. Some levels, like Starlight Zone, break this trend to an extent, but most of the game continues similar to Marble Zone. And to be fair, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sure, the point of the game is to go fast, but if the puzzle platforming is fun, then it's not a huge issue. But the problem is that a lot of the level design in Sonic 1 is just plain cruel. Unfair traps, enemies that are hard to anticipate, and a general punishment for speed are major problems in the game. And this is a big reason why most people, myself included, just prefer to return to Sonic 2, 3, or even CD when revisiting the classic games, as there's a clear point where the level designers figured out what is and isn't fair and fun. Each game has their fair share of bullshit, sure, but it's never as bad as it was in Sonic 1. And circling back a little bit to what I said in the introduction, a big part of this video being so hard to make is that the script just went on and on and on. I wrote a solid 10 pages diving into specifics of every stage and all the problems with them. In comparison, I've summed up basically all my problems with the game in just over 3 pages now. I'll wrap up my thoughts on the game's design by returning to a statement I cited earlier by Yuji Naka, that being, the more skilled you become, the faster you can complete a stage. This core gameplay loop works, as evidenced by the other Genesis games and other Sonic games in general, but those games work because the stages are fun to complete in the first place, and that's where Sonic 1 suffers, is that I don't want to master the stages when they're not especially fun to play. So, overall, if you somehow couldn't tell, I really did not enjoy Sonic 1 at all. It's a deeply flawed game with a lot of issues that completely kill the experience for me, despite some good aspects like the visual design and the soundtrack. Honestly, I don't think my input is that unique for this game, but I knew I had to make this video sooner or later, and the timing couldn't be better with the anniversary right around the corner. So, I hope you all enjoyed this video regardless, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.